Hey everybody, and welcome to my In5 series on the Dirtywave M8, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. I recently took my daughter on a college tour to go check out some stuff down south and brought the M8, the Korg Kaoss Pad Mini, and my iPhone, but the iPad will be a perfectly fine alternative just because I'm using the iPhone to record. Anyway, I fit the Dirtywave M8 with fewer cables. I was able to put the Kaoss Pad Mini S in here, and it was a pretty good experience working on some music and just messing around with some stuff. And I figured I'd just talk about what the setup and configuration looks like and what you need to be careful of. First up, the M8 itself is just audio out and in, connected to the Korg Kaoss Pad Mini 2. The trick here is to avoid as much feedback as you can, and you still will get some audio feedback if you're not careful, is the input, the output here goes to the input here, and then the output goes to a headphone splitter. One side is going to monitoring so I can actually hear what's going on, and the other side is going back to the input on the Dirtywave M8. If you're resampling, totally fine. If you're going to sample, this will create a feedback loop. So if you're going to actually do sampling and not like kind of resampling patterns, just make sure you unplug the audio in. But besides that, you should be mostly fine. And I'll talk about where the particular points are, and just so you can hear what the feedback sounds like, I will probably try and control it, but I might trigger it. Anyway, so that's the Dirtywave M8 to the Kaoss Pad Mini 2S. And then because the iPad, and in the case of what I was doing with the iPhone, it is a USB host. I can go USB-C to USB-C, and the iPad here is handling all of the audio, USB audio and MIDI drivers and connections between itself and the M8. So still have two free ports here if I wanted to hook up like a Roland P6 or something as well. Could add in a little bit more into this setup should I want to or care to, but at the moment, I actually had a really good time just with like the limited devices and just using Korg Gadget. The main trick here is, and this will work for pretty much any other DAW you might have on your phone or on your iPad, but in basically what I'm doing is each track here has its own MIDI channel, and to get that to work in Korg Gadget, if you just go up to the little gear icon, you're going to see where it says MIDI input mode. It'll by default say easy. Just switch it to advanced. This will allow you to do the if with advanced, you can then set what device where MIDI is coming from and what channel to use. And you'll just see on the bottom left here, there is like this little, it says all, in my case, it says all/1. If I tap it, it's really just opening up and says I can come in and choose if I want to get something from another Korg Gadget or M8 or whatever else. I'm just leaving it as all for now. And the important one is I want the channel to say 1, and then over here, channel says 2, all the way up to the Brussels where it says channel 7. With that set, if I come in to instruments, I have instrument 00. Here is called Gadget-1, and it goes to USB. Instead of USB plus MIDI, it just says USB. And this is channel 1, and if I scroll through, you'll see Gadget 2 goes to channel 2, Gadget 3 goes to channel 3, etc. And that just allows me to map from the M8. I can then play whichever one of the instruments I want. Super easy. So let's say we want to make a boring drum pattern. We don't need these. Get rid of that. So I need instrument 00. You might be wondering, why are we not hearing anything? Well, we're going to get to that in 1 second. I currently have USB set to 00. To make sure you don't have a feedback loop by default with this configuration, you have to make sure input is 00. In this case, it's fine because we're not sending audio from the M8 to the iPad for effects. So I can actually turn this up to E0. Could probably go higher if I need a bit more gain staging, but for the moment, we'll just say E0 is fine. Let's go back. You can just hit play. I now have a pretty basic house drum beat. And if we load the instrument, we can just see it's just triggering the first pad. This here is the third pad for hat. We got like a rim shot, or not hat, the snare, clap, hats and stuff. So let's say I want to add in a snare as part of this track. There is in a MIDI instrument a modifier called add, and you can go see there's like volume, pitch, program change, pitch bend. In this case, we want add, and I want to add from the note, which is here. I want to go add up 2 higher. And if I do that on the 2 and the 4, we now have kick and snare, super basic combo. Maybe we want to get a little fancier and just have a, maybe we want the 4th bar. We'll go do nth and just set this to 3. And now we've just made a 4-bar loop. Oop. So if I come back here, we'll now out in the 4th bar get like that double kick. There we go. Now say I want track 2, I want to go to Resiph and use some hats here. This 4th one seems fine. I can just come in here, we'll go add in. In this case, I just switched to instrument 1, which is mapped to MIDI channel 2 for Gadget. So we want D4. That sounds about right. Let's just go do a really boring, straight hi-hat pattern. That's what I'm just doing to keep it easy. So we got these elements. I can keep going in. Like we could add in a bass or something over here. Let's make a 4-bar. We've got, what do we have? Madrid, Berlin. Let's go Berlin. So that's going to be MIDI channel 6. So instrument 5. Let's see. We'll see if we can get this to work. Maybe that's not the right instrument. Maybe we should do, I don't know, we'll do strings. It's not really bassy, but hopefully you get the idea, is just go grab stuff. Heck, maybe this is a better one. Oops, 7's not it. It's gonna be 6. There we go. We now have some bass. So I can go through, program a whole bunch of stuff out, and make it do all kinds of fun things. And let's say now I want to go do some resampling. One of the nice things with Dirtywave M8 is we can take these things that we're doing and just resample it back in super quick. Well, we got to be careful, because if we go, I'll show you. This doesn't create a feedback loop, but Shift Option, double tap. It's going to start by saying Quick Render by default. Make sure you go over to External USB and hit Enter. And it's just we're just rendering out that bass, the drum, kick, bass drum, and snare. And by default, it's going to take and create a brand new instrument for us. So if I come in and make like a chain 11, we'll just create this and drop it in. Well, if I play this, it sounds a tiny bit different for the tone. It's louder and it sounds different. We can kind of adjust the volume here by just turning it down. And if you go through and do your gain staging and everything, you could probably get this to work right. I've just been doing it by ear. Like 54 sounds about right. There might be it might be picking up a little bit of extra oddity as well though. And the reason why I say that is because we are going out the USB, it's coming in, and that external rendering is going to record the audio from the USB, but it's also then going out here, back into the Kaoss Pad Pro, or Kaoss Pad Mini 2S, then it's going out, back in. So we're kind of getting 2 copies of that recording, and that can give us some phasing issues or other things. So I would personally suggest if you're going to go and re-record from audio here from the over USB and you got this kind of a setup, just disconnect it. We'll go re-render this. And this should work a lot better, sound better, and maybe not be quite so loud. So that's cool. We're going to come in, and in this case, I'm actually going to go put FEs, because we basically just want to trigger this loop and then let it play for 4 bars. So let's see how this sounds. So far, sounds good. Now, with this setup, as long as I'm not doing audio from the USB and from here at the same time, I can plug this back in. And let's say what I want to do, like a filter sweep. Shouldn't be too hard. We'll just stop playing. We're going to go Shift Option, double tap again, select the external USB, and let's say we want to do this kind of a filter sweep. I've now got something where I can go 13, double tap, put our FEs, and sounds kind of loud. I won't, this is where, as I said, gain staging might be important if you want to go fast, even faster, but I've already just made a whole bunch of variations of this sample. And you can hear this is now, it's just naturally going through, but we're not using the effect. But we can keep layering and doing this kind of re-recording to keep things going if we want to. Now, last bit is if you want to actually record a synth sound off of Gadget, what I'm going to suggest you do is, before you do this, disconnect your audio to record in, because when you start recording, we're going to get a problem, which is a feedback loop, and you really don't want that. So let's say I want, I don't know, we're going to go track 80, just create a brand new phrase so we can move over. We're going to go sample, new sampler, and we're going to go record. I want to record from USB, so I'm going to come over. If I had this plugged in, we would immediately be into a feedback loop because it's going to have monitoring on. You don't want that, so this is why I'm disconnecting it. So you want source LNR, I'm switching it to USB, and now let's say I want a piano or string. I guess in this case it's a string. Just come back, I go record, play whatever I want for the note. Hit enter when I'm done. We've now got this note recorded. I can do all the, let's cancel out. We'll go random name, it's fine. Quantum Okra. Weird, but it'll work. So we're just going to create this, save it, and now I just have a new synth sample sound. I can record some stuff out. Sounds like it's a little low, or maybe the bass is kind of high. Hard to tell, but we can go nuts. Anyway, I know this has been going on like way longer than I was intending to, so I just want to end here and just say, you know, you don't need a whole lot to do some really cool stuff. I think like iPad, iPhone is an excellent sample source, and it's pretty fun to go sequence from the M8. You can then re-render stuff back into the M8, so you don't have to save these projects over here forever, but you can still have the patterns to send around to different instruments and record just variations of sound. Kaoss Pad 2 Mini here, giving a great way to just quickly like kind of play with some of the sounds, drop in some effects, and do some fun stuff. So anyway, I hope this helps you guys out. Everybody, thanks for stopping by. Keep making music, keep having fun. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good. And peace.